Good morning, happy Saturday. This is episode 11 of the Focaccia episode, part 2 of Focaccia. This will be a quick little blurb because we're going to do one thing to the bread and then it's going to rest for about an hour and a half or so. And then we're going to be pausing during that, obviously. And then we're going to come back and finish the Focaccia and throw it in the oven. Grabbed my dough from the garage. It had been sitting there since we made it last night. And it's been rising. You see it's a lot bigger, poofier, some bigger bubbles in there. Take the plastic off.
And Chef, you told me something about yeast, that if like everything had been alive.
So I didn't have a very active packet of yeast yesterday. In fact, it was only like 20% active. And so I got some bubbling, yep, it's still alive, but the whole thing definitely wasn't. If the whole package was fresh and totally alive, it would have given me a very quick rise, a lot of bubbles. But it's a good thing I was leaving this in the garage overnight and gave that little bit of yeast to feed on the sugar and the flour and the water in there and make a whole bunch more yeast babies by today, and it's all in here now. So a little bit of yeast will do the same as a lot of yeast if you give it enough time. So anyway.
So if somebody had a full packet and their thing got really bubbly, is that a problem? If it got real, if like the whole packet was alive?
It's not a problem. You just had some really happy yeast in there, and that's good. We are going to be taking 4 times the side and pushing it in the middle, side, push it to the middle, side, push it to the middle, side, push it to the middle, and then we're going to flop it onto here. This is going to require some olive oil on our hands, the bread in the bowl, and then over here. So you could use any kind of oil for this. I'm going to use the olive oil.
But it has to be an oil that's liquid at room temperature, I imagine.
Yes. Picking it up, pushing it down, picking it up, pushing it down, picking it up, pushing it down, picking it up, pushing it down.
So it's almost like wrapping a present.
Yep. Yeah, making your own doughy envelope. Spread that on there. Take this out. Boop. Now, there's a lot of different methods for letting this second rise happen. Some people say coat it in oil and lay plastic over the top and then let it rise like that. This one recipe that I happen to like says leave it out in the open in a warmish, room temperature room for anywhere from 1.5 to 4 hours, depending on how much rise it's getting, and don't cover it up. And I'm gonna go with don't cover it up because I'm not gonna put more plastic out there if I don't have to. All right, I'm gonna go for a run. See you guys in about an hour and a half. We're gonna bake this up. All right, we're back like nothing happened, although I went for a run, this was rising, listened to a whole bunch of music, folded a bunch of laundry, and hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours passed. This is warmed up and ready to go. And it says to poke it, and if it rebounds slowly, and that looks pretty slow to me, that it's ready to bake. That looks pretty good, ready to bake to me. Our oven is at 450 degrees. I'm gonna bake the focaccia on this pan just stretched out. I'm not putting it in a fitted pan. There'll be a time when we make Detroit style pizza and I will put it in a fitted pan and we will all be happier for it.
Detroit style pizza, is that a casserole?
No, that's Chicago pizza. Let's not confuse ourselves.
I'm a New Yorker.
You want to fight already? It's like only 3 o'clock. I'll fight.
I'm just saying, you've got to use the right words. Okay,
Nobody wants an uncooked lasagna for pizza. Different conversation.
Keep talking about your little biscuits there.
Rein it in. Not bitter. Okay. All right. I'm going to chop up some rosemary like a boss to sprinkle over the focaccia. I really love the rosemary and the sea salt and the olive oil that we're going to put on top. I also have some sad-looking grapes that need to be dealt with. I've talked about the food that needs to be dealt with, and we're doing it all throughout this show. I'm going to cut these in half, and I'm going to tuck them into the holes and let them bake into the bread. When it's all baked and lovely, as soon as it comes out of the oven, I'm going to sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese so that it can melt and adhere to the bread and basically bake onto the bread. I'm not putting that on in the beginning to go on there because it's just going to burn. So, rosemary, half of a stem. I just peeled it right off. Whoop, with my fingers, put it down. Do a big tic-tac-toe pattern. And then it'll stay put while you do the little sprinkler pattern. Ish, you know. Stick it in a pile. Okay. Bunch of sad grapes.
But I love that taste of the sweet and the savory together. I think the grapes will be great.
Me too. Grapes and the parm and the rosemary. Sea salt. Awesome. Just give them a quick cut in half. Little stem. Get up there.
And you're preheating the oven to what?
450.
Okay. So this is a hot one.
Yep. Okay. We turn this. We still all in the frame there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I'm just going to do the pull method. You can roll this with a rolling pin if you wanted, but I'm just going to do this.
And the point is not to have it all like a pie dough.
Right. Don't want it flat. 1/2 inch is the thickness we're going for. And see how it's retracting? That's good. It's all the gluten working for us. What we're going to do is stretch and hold it for a second. And then stretch and hold. And just help the dough relax.
It looks like do you have oil on your hands or is it just water?
I don't have any oil. It was on the bottom.
Oh,
so I'm
gotcha.
just picking up the oil there. Hold it this way. Just hold it, and it will start to stay. It'll just take a few times around. This way, by not rolling it, I'm not collapsing those air bubbles in there that it spent a whole day making. Stretch them out.
So that would be like that kind of fluffy inside of a bread.
Yeah.
Instead of how consistent a pie dough is.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we're going to pause and give this 15 minutes to rise in place. Because now that we've stretched it, those bubbles need a chance to become bubbles again. So we're going to pause, see you in 15. All right, we are back. This has had its 15 minutes to rest again once we got it into shape. I'm doing the grapes and rosemary and sea salt thing that I just talked about, but this is a time to go into your spice drawer and those spice blends that you bought and you're like, this smells amazing. This is a really good time to break out one of those too. I have this Italian one that smells incredible to sprinkle over after you do the olive oil on it. And I also have everything bagel spice, and that would be amazing on here. And then in the morning you can cut some, make some toast out of it, pretend it's a bagel.
Is that one that Trader Joe's sells?
This one's Trader Joe's. I have one back here. The big sucker from Barry's Bagels.
This I discovered through you. Like, this is amazing. I put it on rice. I put it on all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it just tastes like what an everything bagel tastes like.
It's incredible. I know. Love it. All right. So now we get to poke the daylights out of this dough with our fingers. It's like people have described it as playing an angry piano, or playing a piano in an angry way. We're just going to poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it, poke it. There, like that. I'm going to tuck some grapes in around here.
Are you putting the grapes juicy side down?
I am. And, well, some are in sideways. I'm not really paying that much attention to it.
It doesn't make a difference.
Nah. We'll just do that on half. Do rosemary. I'm using the rest of the grapes, whatever. Get in there. Okay, and now a drizzle of olive oil over it. And some salt. Okay, now 450-degree oven, 20 to 40 minutes. We're gonna check it at 20 minutes. Setting a timer for 20. All right, see you in 20.
Go. Here we go.
We're ready. Bringing it out of the oven. Here we go. And there it is. Not a very poofy focaccia. Not very, didn't rise a whole bunch at all. Smells amazing. It looks good, and it's gonna serve the purpose that I need it to. It's gonna be our sandwich bread. I'm gonna put our parm over it. I can hear it still sizzling.
Yeah, when you put that oil on there, it made a sizzly sound.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It could have been poofier, for sure.
But it's the apocalypse. Who cares?
It is. We're eating it anyway. Okay, we're gonna let that sit. Got one last thing to do while this is cooling off. You ready for that? Done with that little sky camping thing?
I'm done with Sky Cap.
Okay, good. We had some microgreens delivered to the house. There are some farms right now going through needing to survive. They lost their restaurant accounts, and they are converting to the whole no contact delivery service. And Garden Party Farms is one of those places in the Ypsi Township, Ypsilanti area that we were able to order some microgreens from. And I'm going to put those in a bowl, and we're going to make a little vinaigrette for that. I'm going to toss it as like a little salad, and when we have the bread and focaccia, we're going to have the little microgreen salad with it. So, typical vinaigrette is 2 parts oil, 1 part vinegar, and then your flavor, your seasoning. In this case, it's going to be a little bit of Dijon mustard, and mustard is a very good emulsifier between things that are water soluble and things that are oil based, not water soluble. Mustard, for some reason, gets those two to hang out together better than anything else. Here we go. I am eyeballing this. I'll put a recipe that actually has measurements on the site. But for this, I'm eyeballing olive oil in a bowl.
apple cider vinegar.
Yep. Not as much as the olive oil because it's 2 to 1.
Two parts olive oil to 1 part vinegar.
Yep. And then just what we're going to consider like half a teaspoon-ish heaping of the Dijon mustard.
Cool. And can you use whatever kind of vinegar that you have in the house?
Yes.
Red wine vinegar.
Red wine vinegar would be fantastic in this, exactly like the apple cider vinegar. Rice wine vinegar would be very good. Balsamic vinegar is a great one for this too.
So I'm going to dual sky cam.
That's it. That's our vinaigrette.
Okay. Easy peasy.
Yep. These are our beautiful microgreens. They call it the rainbow mix. I don't know exactly what they are. We'll take a few for the groups. Pretty purple. Put them in my bowl. Some other greeny ones over here.
And we'll put a link to the microgreen site out. And I don't think they take from the time of you placing the delivery. I think that the arrival on the doorstep is pretty quick.
It was very quick. It was same day. These guys, boop. Okay. Put those back in the fridge. Just gonna toss that. This is cooling. Smells pretty nice.
I'm looking forward to this one. I look forward to them all, don't get me wrong. But my little pizza loving soul, focaccia loving soul. So remind us from yesterday what's happening with the pickles, chef.
Oh, so we did the pickled onions and the pickled radishes. They're in the fridge. When we make a sandwich, have a burger, grill some chicken, make some chili. Pickled onions are a very nice accompaniment to that. Bringing some nice tangy, sweet and sour onion punch. Really good, just accessory. Like I would totally serve some pickled onions with some cheese and some bread and a little bit of the microgreens and dressing and call it dinner.
Beautiful.
So this pretty much wraps up our focaccia. We'll show some pictures of it all cut and the salad and all of the links that we need to know. Tomorrow is a big day because I got 2 boxes delivered from Tippin's Market that are they're going to be mystery boxes. They told me not to open them until I am ready to shoot. So it's like my own episode of Chopped where it's just me, but I got to use everything in the box and I have no idea what they gave me. So I'm kind of afraid and super thoroughly excited at the same time, which is a whole lot of emotion. So anyway, don't miss it because it's guaranteed to be a fiasco.
Can Tippin's Market, can normal humans shop there?
Yeah, Tippin's Market is on Ann Arbor Saline Road, and they are doing a great job with no contact shopping. You can do it virtually, and you can do curbside pickup. And their walk-in traffic that they do, I think they're still doing walk-in traffic, is done like Trader Joe's was earlier this week, and I felt the most comfortable in our super trying to isolate sort of way at Trader Joe's, and I believe in the system that they have in place as being safe and careful as we're supposed to be. And they're still trying to get food out to people and to be able to provide for as long as we can during the quarantine. Anyway, tomorrow, mystery box. Don't miss it. It's going to be weird.